Also to name Squall ... because it's hilarious. Major props to whoever dominated it. And we are just about ready for Adventures of Lolo Any % with Rayeo. Give it up!
Oh, welcome, everyone. My name is Rayeo. I'm here to show off Adventures of Lolo. On the couch, I have Hio24, who will be helping me with commentary, as well as my lovely wife, Mrs. Rayeo. And also, as an added incentive I'm doing, for every death I do, I will be donating $20 per death that happens in the run. So let's hear it up for some deaths. Okay, let's start this up. Okay, time will start on the first movement from the character. I will give the command to start the timer. Yeah, so this game is pretty much 50 levels with 8 different enemies. The point of the and go. Okay, so basically the point of the game is to collect all the hearts, which will open up the chest, and then you collect the orb that's inside. Through the first 8 levels in the game, we will be introduced to every single enemy in the game. The first level we saw the Snaky. His primary use in the game is to block the enemies to allow us to pass, or use them as a flotation device over the water. Here we're introduced with the dragons or ghouls, in which they are stationary throughout the entire level until you get the last heart, where they awaken. We won't see it here, but they will shoot flames if you get in their path. Coming with the next one, we're going to see our first manipulation with the character, with the Leaper, which is going to sit here, and if everything works well, he'll come right across over the bridge, and it'll give me time to set up another small thing. Because what the Leaper does is that the second they touch you, they will fall asleep. So we want to time it perfectly so he gets in the upper left-hand corner. And then coming up, we're going to be seeing something similar to the dragon, which will be the skulls. They too stay inactive until you finish getting all of the hearts. But unlike the dragons, they will chase you. And this game is always a one-hit kill, so you gotta be careful. But we're gonna leave some of these blocks open to make it a little quicker. Usually you're supposed to keep them inside the blocks, but we're speedrunners. We don't have time for that.
Nice. Uh-oh.
Alrighty then, the final floor for this dungeon, we're gonna be introduced to the Rockies. What their primary function is, they go in a circular pattern, and if you are on the horizontal plane with them, they will stop. If you're on the vertical, they will chase after you until you hit a wall. Now, coming into the second floor, we're going to be introduced to the final 3 enemies in the game. The first one will be the Alma, or the Armadillo, and their main purpose is that they will be chasing you for the entire run. We're going to put a little bit of delay there to make sure that the Armadillo chases us, so we can go right over and get the hearts. In the next level, we're going to be introduced with the first the first dangerous enemy, the Medusas. They're stationary, but anytime you're in their line of sight, it will be an instant kill. And then the final one will be the Dawn Medusa. They're like the Medusas, but they move, either up and down or left and right. And coming up, we're going to get the first skip of the game. So let's see if I can get it. It's a very frame-perfect move. Oh, first try. There we go. Very nice. Yeah,
so that's a pretty quick one right there, where you have about a 15-frame space where he can't see you after he hits a wall.
Okay, and then coming up here, we're just going to manipulate the Rocky. I made a mistake, so we need to get him to go to the left, no matter what. So that way we can get these hearts without having to stop moving. Put a little delay there so we can make sure that the Rocky will come racing up, because we need him to quickly move over so we can get this last heart. Now, here comes the last, first big trick of the second floor. Here, we're going to have a very frame-perfect shot when it comes to this armadillo that's up top. Usually, you're supposed to use these blocks to cover the skulls. But if we time our shots right, I'm going to go left and immediately do a shot.
Nice.
And then we're going to wait just a second to let the skull go down. That will always be consistent.
That is a really tough trick right there. You have to hit it right on the fly.
Alrighty, and here we go. We're on to floor 3. This is pretty much... Oh, no. First, we're going to introduce the first enemy manipulation, where we're going to use an enemy as a block to help us complete a level. So right here, we're just going to set up all the blocks. We're going to only use this one. We have 3, but we're only going to need 2 of them for this one. We're going to be using one of the skulls as one of our blockers. We're going to manipulate him to come around and follow us. And I already messed up. I apologize. That one was supposed to be last. Which is funny, that's actually never happened before. So that's $20 right there.
So something else with this game is on certain levels you get certain power-ups. On this one you get the ladder, which you basically, after you collect so many hearts, you can use. And to cross, sometimes you will also get a hammer or a arrow that will turn arrows, which we'll see later in the game. So right here he's going to manipulate the skull to block the Medusa so he can get the orb.
Right. And now that's the rest of it's more of just a bunch of push blocks. So if we have any donations, it can be right now. We have time for one or two.
Excellent. We've got $15 from Sarah Fusion, who says, "Let's go, rayeo. It's Lolo time. Nothing like a retro run. Love, Sarah Fusion." And we've got $25 from Windows LM. "I have to donate during Lolo. Been a huge fan of the series since I was a kid. Thanks for running this amazing game."
If you have a couple more, go right ahead.
Sure. $200 from Chiveris. "Here's my contribution to the fight against cancer for this year's AGDQ, and to hoping that we can find a way to treat every kind of cancer out there."
Awesome. Okay, so we are right there. You're usually supposed to block all the skulls, but the skulls at times have a predetermined path, and right there, that skull usually will always go down first before it tries to locate us. Now, to finish off this level, you're supposed to use the block to block the bottom dragon here, but we're gonna make him shoot, and a dragon can only have one shot on the screen at any one time. And here we go, onto floor 4. I'm gonna have to put some focus here, because this is probably the hardest level in the game.
So 4-1 has an interesting mechanic. If you're, if you're standing halfway into a block, no matter which side you're standing on,
I'm gonna get this.
The enemy can't see you. So he's gonna try to do a one cycle by just getting to each block right as the enemy's getting past it. So he's set up, and he got it.
Got it.
So basically, if you aren't able to do that when they get there at the same time, you have to wait a whole cycle. That was pretty good.
Took three tries, but we got it.
You mean it took $40?
Sorry. It's only money, right? Okay, so here what we're gonna do is we're gonna quickly go right and left on the same movement to save some time. Because if you don't, then you're gonna have to wait until the egg gets down to the next section.
You all gonna do that 50 times?
Oh, yes, they will. Okay, here for this level, the most important thing here is you need to block this skull. Since skulls will always try to find you, if we block him right here, he has no chance of getting us. And now all we gotta do is just get to the jewel. Just gotta be very quick, don't get hit by the shot. Cover the enemies, and then the other important thing with this level is don't go right for the door. You have to go to the left block. If you push the right block, well, you're gonna have to end the game, end the level. Okay, so here we're gonna do another trick that we did earlier with the Dawn Medusa. We're gonna wait for a specific time, follow the Dawn, get into the heart, and he will not touch us.
And it goes back to where he's just kind of blind for a few frames after he hits a wall.
Okay, going into the final level of floor 4. The original way you're supposed to actually do this is you're supposed to move all of these snakies to cover all of the dragons. But you can, if they're not active, you can go right for the middle one first and then just leave the left one for last. That way saving you a lot of time and don't even have to touch the other skulls, the other snakies. And there we go, floor 4 done.
Something we haven't also talked about is when you die in this game, you just go right back to the level you're on. But when you lose all your lives and you continue, you still go back to the level you were on. So there really is no reason to have lives in this game because you're always going to keep going back to where you're at.
Exactly. And also, this floor is pretty much a bunch of block pushing, so if we have a few more donations, we can go right ahead.
Absolutely. $25 from Andrew Ferguson, who says, "Shout out to the whole GDQ crew from us over at Desert Bus for Hope. We love y'all. Honk."
Honk.
And pardon me for this one, but I'm going to do it. $10 from D-Pad Danny, who says,
Hey.
"Wake me up before you Lolo. Don't leave me hanging here screaming YOLO. Good luck, rayeo. Money goes to Runner's Choice."
Yeah, it's definitely good.
Thanks, Danny.
Thanks, Danny. Yeah, that'll be Mike Tyson's.
So on this board, we just need to make sure we only have enough shots to get everything out of the way, but we also have to block the 2 skulls on the right side so that when we get the last heart, they don't come chasing us. But we're gonna leave the bottom one because after we get the last heart, we're gonna shoot him and get him out of the way. And that way we don't have to wait for them to respawn.
Alrighty, here we go. So now it's going to be going to what I call the Key West level. Yeah, when I was running this game, grinding for the world record, to make it easier for me not to have a small little cheat sheet, because it's 50 levels, it's hard to remember every level. So I started naming all the different levels, different names, to make it easy to remember what was next. Alright, so in this level, we're going to have one of the 2 times we're going to see the arrow mechanic. How the arrows work is that they will be in 1 of 4 directions. Lolo is able to traverse through the arrows in 3 of the 4 ways. The only way he can't traverse is if he's trying to walk in the opposite direction that the arrow is pointing. You know, and there we go. Level 5 done. We're halfway through this. Okay. Here we go. On to floor 6. Probably the hardest floor in the game. Maybe a little harder for me other than floor 10. Because here's the first time you start seeing a lot of intentional half blocks in order to save some movements. And you're also going to see the first time where we're just going to traverse halfway into a heart, past the Medusa, and the Medusa just doesn't kill us.
And once again, it's while we're halfway in a heart, just nothing can see us for some reason.
But it's only from the north side.
Oh yeah.
Which is interesting for the code. And then this level will also be the first time we're seeing the importance of what's called the half block. Because we have 2 Medusas here, but the way it's going, we're only going to have 1 usable block. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this block halfway between both Medusas, because as long as an enemy is halfway blocked, it can't hurt us.
And something else with the boards that are coming up, if he accidentally moves a block just 1 little bit too much, he will have to restart a level.
Yes. Okay, and this was probably one of my bigger run killers, because this is one where you have to have perfect inputs for the entire level. First, we need to release the leaper. We need to have him follow us all the way to the grass, and then we have to fake him up and make him go left. And while he's going that way, we're going back to his home to grab these hearts. And then after we grab these 2 hearts, we need to make sure we're back at this heart just enough to make him turn around. And that's actually going to be a death because I messed up. I need to be perfect. I cannot make a mistake on that level, because if I do, the leaper will not be where I need him to be. Because I need him to be exactly next to the Medusa to grab that last heart.
In my opinion, in the speed run, this is actually the hardest run, just because any mistake is basically a reset.
Yes, that is exactly correct. Okay, let's try this again. Get him to go left, get the heart, and without stopping, we should get the heart and not die. He helps us be a blocker. Then we're going to use him again here, put him asleep, and then just get right to the orb.
That was really well done.
And then one mechanic in this game is with enemies that are egged, you're able to push them into the water. In some instances, they have designed paths that they can go down the water. And there's usually supposed to be all the way in the water, except for this one moment. For some reason, he just likes to ride halfway under the land and go right over the Medusa. And then we're just gonna have to wait for him, and just like a previous level, just quickly go over and go right back over. Cover the Medusa so we can get the heart, create the bridge, get the last heart, and get the... There we go.
If he's unable to go across the egg and then come immediately back, he actually has to wait a whole cycle there for the egg to come back around.
Yeah, I have to wait for it to be up top. And then another important thing with this game is that there can only be 1 egg in the water at any one time. So this is I think this is the only time you're going to see it in this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back over the water and then immediately blow the egg out of the water so we can bring this one in and quickly get the orb and get to the stairs. And here we go. Floor 7, I always felt like it was like a little breather. I call it the blink and you'll miss it stage, because as you progress through each floor, the levels are supposed to get harder, and they do, but they made these levels extremely short.
But they can also be easily you can make mistakes easy on these.
Yes, like this one looks busy, but it's like 2 things you have to do, and it's really just about those 3 blocks down below.
So on this one, he's going to move the bottom two dragons to block the Medusas. And then after he gets the next heart, he's going to shoot the top two dragons so that they don't shoot him when he goes for the orb.
Yes, correct. If I didn't egg them, it would be basically an instant kill. There's no way to get that without egging them. And here is the second and last time where you're going to see a lot of the arrows, but this time we have to use the arrow mechanic to switch the arrows in order to finish the level. And we go through the outer path first and then the inner path, because going the inner path is quicker and also it gives you the biggest distance from the skull. Now, this is probably one of my favorite levels because it shows the mechanic on why I think skulls are not very bright in this game. Yes, they're supposed to follow you, but something really strange happens in this level. So you're going to have 8 skulls here, but I'm just going to walk right through them and get the orb.
And for some reason, you can walk into skulls and you're fine, but if a skull touches you, you're dead.
Yeah, which is kind of nice. Okay, 15 more to go. Now the levels start to ramp up in difficulty in terms of just the complexity of them. So here, pretty much, we're gonna need to first, because we're gonna have to get all the hearts in order to get the hammer, which is, a very important mechanic that'll be coming up in future levels.
So we saw the hammer earlier in the run, but we didn't really explain it. Basically, you can, once you get enough hearts and get the hammer, you can knock one of those stones out. But you only get one use of each hammer you get. So you need to make sure you hit the right stone, because once you use it, you will have to restart if you hit the wrong one.
Yep. All powers are a one and done type deal. Okay, so here it's...
This is a lot of pushing blocks around.
Yes. Yeah, so if there's actually... I mean, the rest of the level is a lot of just pushing blocks. So if there's any more donations, we can go right ahead.
Absolutely. We've got $600.
Ooh,
Stars.
nice.
Stara says, hello from the Caribbean. Celebrating my father's 60th birthday on a cruise, but knew I still wanted to donate to such a great cause. So here's what I normally donate throughout the entire week.
Wow, thank you.
Nice, thank you so much.
$100 from Chain RXN. One more day, one more donation. Thanks for the amazingly entertaining runs. $25 from Eurixia. Hello from the front row. Great event so far, but it could be better if we got that punch-out run.
Yes, we need that punch-out run.
Yeah.
We are only a little over $50,000 away from it still.
Nice.
Come on, let's get that. Yeah, so what I'm doing now is, as you saw, it's the second and last time you're going to see the little trick where you're able to go through a heart and not get killed by the Medusa. So what I was doing right here, I was setting up the blocks in a way to immediately cover it up and make sure the bottom heart is last to give us the most distance from that skull to kill it, so he doesn't kill us.
So on this board, basically, as long as he doesn't stop moving, he'll actually be on the same cycle as the Dawn Medusas, where he's able to block them. But as you can see, he only moved them down, so they still have a couple spaces where they move. So he's going to use these next 2 blocks to finish him off. It's kind of more of a speedrunner tech, just to save a few frames.
Yeah. Yeah, the half block movement is all just to save frames. And there's a lot of them, so it's very important to get as many of them as you can. I'm sorry, and there are also instances where doing a half block is actually detrimental, as Hayo mentioned earlier. Okay, so we're just gonna bring this last block down. We're gonna grab the last heart, get that orb, and floor 8 is now complete. Alrighty, time for floor 9. 9-1 is, as I call it, it's Lolo's audition tape to try to be Sonic. But the problem he has is that he runs at a consistent pace, so Sega said no thank you.
So as long as he waits for the armadillo to get to that bridge, and then he takes off, he should have enough space to beat him to the orb. But if he makes one mistake, he will actually catch him. And this is actually the same way normal runners would run that. So it's not really even a speed tech.
Yeah, it's pretty much the way you have to go. Yeah, so here I'm positioning the blocks in a way to where I can get the lower half and the bottom half at the same time, leaving the middle portion last so I can get through the hole. And then after that, I need to go to the right side first because this heart is the one that gets us the egg shots. And the most important thing here is to egg these bottom 2 dragons. They're the only ones that can actually hurt us if we try to go straight up.
Nice.
Okay, and here is one of the harder tricks in the game. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to use one leaper here to come by and block the Medusa for us. So we're going to put him to sleep. And then we're going to set things up. I'm going to get I have 2 egg shots. I'm going to need to cancel out the dragon shots in order to get to the orb.
That's a really tough trick right there because he has to cancel both of those shots.
Yeah, and you don't have much room for error there. And for here, you're supposed to push this block on top of this dragon here, but I'm going to leave it. I'm going to leave it there first. I'm going to blow the snake away. Because what this is going to do is give me enough time to, if I get back without making an error, I should get the heart and the snake should immediately reappear so I can shoot it and put it right next to the dragon without having to wait.
Make sure to shoot up.
Yes, shoot up on time. There's many times I've shot half. There's been times I shot half. That run has surprisingly killed me a few times because I would shoot early. Okay, so here's the last instance of a lot of those half block skips. Right. It's actually the most important one to do.
5 to go.
5 more to go. Let's go. The hardest level is the final floor for the Great Devil, who's actually called King Egger.
So what we're doing here is we're going to set up these blocks to manipulate the skulls to go in a certain path after he gets all the hearts. But what we need to do is we need to block the skulls from getting into the sand until we're ready to go into the sand. Because when you walk through the sand, you walk at a much slower pace. But the skulls themselves still walk at normal pace. So what he's doing right now is he's setting up all the blocks and that's all right, man. You got it.
That's fine. That's fine. That's 5 deaths. But luckily, a game over here brings you right back to the level I was last on. So all you have to do is just get through the level floor splash screen, and we're right back to the same level.
That's what's great about this game is you go right back to where you're at.
I'm actually having to die there because I accidentally pushed that block down. Okay, let's get it right this time. 3rd time's a charm.
So I said we're going to basically just be moving the blocks around to manipulate the skulls. And then after we get all the hearts...
I realized I shot a shot too early. Man, joking on the last floor. Come on, let's go, Ray.
These are the easy ones.
I know, this is the one I usually have no problem with. Yeah, so I'm going to play it safe. There's 3 specific spots I can put that snaky to finish the level. So I'm going to play a little safer and give myself a little extra room. I'm not going to try the quick strat, so let's just play it a little safe. It's pretty much the same way. It's just we're going to lose a little bit of time. So no big deal. We've already died 4 times here, so there we go. Because pretty much what I want to do here is just cover the Dawn Medusa over here because we need a free block in order to cover the sand, as Hai was mentioning earlier.
So, yeah, basically that's going to keep all the skulls out. And what we're going to do is we're going to move this top block over to block this last skull, and then we're going to make a mad dash for the orb.
Yeah, and I position the snake where it is to give myself a little bit more extra room there.
That was actually a good amount of space, though.
Yeah, I pushed the snake.
Usually it's right on you.
Yeah, the fast way, that skull would be right on me. But I pushed that first snaky a little farther down to give myself a little extra room. Actually, I'm going to play it safer just for now.
So what he's doing is he's basically moving all the pieces so that he can move around them. Because he needs to get the hearts, but the leapers will fall asleep in his path. So he needs to make sure that they fall asleep in the exact spot he wants them to. And after he gets his last heart, he's going to let the dragon shoot. And he's going to go past it. Oh, that's a new one.
That was a new one. Seeing a lot of firsts today.
So he's going to let the dragon shoot, and then he's going to egg the dragon above it and block the other dragon with the dragon.
Okay, so we're going to play it a little safer now. Yeah, I'm not going to do the normal strat for right now. Let's just get to the finish. Okay, there we go. That's fine, that's fine, okay.
Half blocked up is okay, as long as you can block that
dragon. Almost made the same mistake. Okay, there we go.
Okay, so here he's just basically going to use these snakies to get across, but he's also going to need to push the blocks down to block the Medusas. But he's only got 2 snakies he can use, and he also needs to use them to block the Medusas. So there's just going to be a lot of shooting the snakies and then waiting for them to come back. And then after the end of it, he needs to use 1 more snaky to block the Dawn Medusa. So basically, he needs to make sure that he shoots all the snakies after he puts them into eggs.
Yeah, and like I said, it's important to keep 1 there because right here, we're going to get the hammer. We're going to wait for Dawn to go up so we can drop him down below. There we go.
All right, last hard board in the game.
So,
This board's all about cycles. Basically, the Dawn Medusa on the right side, we're always trying to keep an eye on him because we need to block everything on the left side while watching out for the Dawn Medusa on the right side.
and the important thing here is to start moving the egg down as Dawn goes up. That way, if everything is on the right cycle, the second I destroy this block as he's moving up, Snaky will start reappearing and reappear just before the Dawn is able to get into my path. And then we shoot the last skull there, and we are on to the final level.
All right, so basically he's just going to shoot this 1 dragon, and he's going to push it to block the Medusa, and we're going to see a lot of fanfare.
Yes.
So be ready, guys.
And there we go. Okay,
There you go.
time will be right once they get to the door, and time.
Good job.
Little overestimate, but that's fine. There was a lot of weird deaths there. But I want to thank everyone who came by. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of the show. And thank you very much.
That was a spectacular run of what I think is one of the most underrated games of all time. Let me give you a couple more donations here. $20 from Amber Lee, who says, most kids in the early 90s were introduced to the NES with a Mario game. Me? My first game was Adventures of Lolo. It's now 2020, and not gonna lie, I don't think I can remember ever beating this game. So show me how it's done, and let's fight cancer at the same time. And I'm gonna send you over to a real quick Twitch ad. Be right back. All right, we're back. We're getting set up for Adventure Island 2 with the Mexican runner. You can definitely get hyped for that, absolutely. Speaking of getting hype, I've got $50 from Prince Mai, who says 2 players on 1 controller for Mike Tyson's Punch-Out blindfolded? Impossible. I have to see this. I just did the math. We are $53,706 away from that blindfolded 2 players, 1 controller Mike Tyson Punch-Out run. So get donations in for that. We got another one. It is a $25 from Strike CZ. Greetings from Czech Republic. Adventures of Lolo was my first NES game I've ever played. It's awesome to see it at GDQ. Good luck and have fun. All right, we're gonna head over to a quick interview with the runner for Hebereke. Take it away.
Hey everybody, I am back, you're back here with me, Blechy, and I am here with Adef, who in a little bit here is gonna be running Hebereke right after Adventure Island 2. So Hebereke was released originally in Japan as that title in '91, and then in PAL-only areas as Euphoria in '92.
Yeah.
So we stateside didn't really get to see it until recently. So how did you find out about it?
Yeah, exactly. It was not released stateside until Wii Virtual Console not too long ago, maybe a decade ago. But as a speed run, a few runners that I've been familiar with for years had been playing it many years ago. Nadua, Zoda. So these are runners that I'm friends with, and they had run the game. So I decided to pick it up this summer. Andy, if you're familiar, he and I both picked it up this summer. And it's just a really fun, wacky game that is really enjoyable to play.
And it's interesting to me because for me, a lot of the times, I might pick up a game because there's some kind of nostalgia factor with it, but that must not be the case here. So kind of, I guess, like, what is it about this game in particular where just gravitated towards it?
So I think originally, the community was quite small around Hebereke. It was a lot of Mega Man runners and NES runners. But I think quickly people started to realize that the tech is pretty approachable. At a base level, the game is very runnable, and it's pretty consistent, but there is a high skill ceiling. So it is an interesting run. It's really fun if you dig the time into it to grow as a runner for this game.
Yeah, and I love it because it's not just a Metroidvania, it's also a Metroidvania where you have access to a few different characters, all of whom are here on the board here, drawn up by LLK. Can you introduce us to each of the characters here we'll be seeing?
Okay, so if you've played Euphoria the Saga, which is the PAL and North America release, some of the characters' names will be a bit different, but I'm going to use the names that we know. So this is Hebe. He's the main character. He's a penguin. He's adorable. And this is the second character we'll unlock in the run, Ochan. Ochan can swim and walk on ice. This is Jennifer the frog, and Jennifer can walk underwater. And then this last one, I'm actually going to use the Euphoria name because it's too good. This is Shades the ghost. Shades is amazing. Just look at him. There's also a Yeti t-shirt for sale right now in this event with Shades on it. Hitting his special move is he hits the back of his head with a hammer and his eyes pop out. And then he lowers his sunglasses and the eyeballs hurt people. So
Gotta see that. That's
Shades
awesome.
is great.
Love it. Yeah, because like with Metroidvanias, often you'll just like, find like a double jump or some ability like that. But in this one, the kind of unlockables are these entirely new characters with different skill sets. So
Yeah.
very cool stuff.
Yeah.
So you've run a huge array of games of all kinds of difficulties. Maybe the hardest one in my mind being Mega Man 1.
Sure.
Where would you say Euphoria or Hebereke fits into that kind of spectrum of difficulties?
Sure. So I think, as you know, with any speedrun, really the difficulty is often what you make of it. But truthfully, you obviously can rank them skill-based. Mega Man 1 definitely probably the hardest. Hebereke is probably in the top 5 or 10 once you get to a certain level. Right away, there's only 1 or 2 tricks you have to learn, but after that, there is, like I said, a pretty high skill ceiling. And if you approach that high skill ceiling, the difficulty does ramp up.
Gotcha. And I kind of set you up to some degree because, so I was looking at the leaderboards, and after first and second place, there's over a minute difference
Yeah.
difference. So what kind of accounts for that? Is it that,
Sure.
that kind of thing that you just mentioned? Or?
Yeah, so Endy and Zoda definitely, as we know, both very accomplished runners, and Endy's so good at any NES game he picks up. They are definitely approaching that higher skill ceiling, and I just don't think I've put in the same amount as them hours-wise. And they're definitely going for a few harder strats and a little bit tighter movement everywhere that accounts for that time.
Got it. Very cool. So actually, as we're coming up on the run, you were telling me a little bit about something you've got planned now. You were a bit tight-lipped about it before,
Yes.
but I'm hoping now that I'm putting you on the spot here in front of everyone, is there
Sure.
anything you can tell us about that?
So I have a little something planned for my run. I don't want to give too much away, but let's just say I'm attempting something at GDQ that I don't think has been done before, and I think people will want to see it.
I see. I can't wait. You've got my interest, so I'll be there for
Excellent.
that. Very cool. Thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us.
thank
Really
you.
appreciate it, ADEF. Keep watching for Adventure Island 2. Right after that will be Hebereke. As we lead into Adventure Island 2, can I just get a quick no mames from chat? Or, group, everyone? Thank you. Appreciate it. Cool. So keep on watching Adventure Island 2 coming up.
Thank you very much. We've got a $250 donation from Angelic Lily. She says, "Hello, GDQ. My first time donating. I recently lost an aunt to cancer. A good friend of mine also had a friend just diagnosed not too long ago. I'm tired of cancer taking those who are important to us, so let us all band together to punch cancer in the face." Speaking of punching, how about a donation train to that punch-out run? More runs equals more donation chances, and that run is one you don't want to miss. Good luck to the runners, and thank you to the staff and tech team for making these possible.